My name is Sophia Miller. I'm 18. On March 24th at 6:43 in the morning, I was standing in my mother's home office watching her delete my college acceptance email right in front of me. And when I screamed, she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Stop being dramatic. You didn't get in." But I had seen it. For exactly 4 seconds before she clicked, I saw the subject line: "Congratulations from Westfield University admissions." My SAT score was right there in the preview text: 1,520. My hands were shaking so badly, I dropped my phone. "Mom, I saw it. I saw—" She closed her laptop with a click that sounded like a door slamming. "Sophia, you're confused. You've been so stressed about admissions, you're seeing things that aren't there." Her voice was calm, professional, the same voice she used at school board meetings. "I checked your application status yesterday. Waitlisted. I didn't want to tell you yet." "That's not true." The email said, "Enough!" My father's voice came from the doorway. Robert Miller, government official, still in his running clothes from his 6 a.m. jog. "Your mother wouldn't lie to you. You need to accept reality and stop making accusations." My throat closed up. I looked at my mother, Director Evelyn Miller, the woman who'd spent 15 years building the county's education system, who gave speeches about fairness and opportunity. Her face showed nothing but mild concern. "Sweetheart," she said softly, "I know this is disappointing, but there are other options. Community college for 2 years, then transfer. Plenty of students do it." I had scored 1,520 on the SAT. I had a 4.2 GPA. I had written my essay about education inequality, and my mother had called it pedestrian but adequate. "I want to see my application portal," I said. "Of course." She opened her laptop again, typed in a URL. The Westfield admissions portal loaded, my name at the top, status waitlisted. I stared at the screen. That's not right." "I'm sorry, honey." My mother touched my shoulder. I flinched. She noticed but didn't comment. "Why don't you go get ready for school? We can talk about other options this weekend." Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time is it there. I went to school that day in a fog. In third period, my guidance counselor, Mr. David Lee, called me into his office. He was looking at his computer screen with his eyebrows pulled together. "Sophia, I wanted to talk to you about your Westfield application." My heart jumped. Did they make a mistake? Because I thought, no mistake. I'm looking at your file here, and, well, your test scores came in lower than we expected. Your SAT was 1,180. Given your GPA, we were hoping for higher, but these things happen. Standardized tests aren't for everyone. The room tilted. "Mr. Lee, I scored 1,520. I got my results in December. I showed them to you." He frowned at his screen. "According to the official report sent to colleges, it's 1,180. Maybe you're thinking of a practice test." "No, I—" But what could I say? He was looking right at the official record. "Your mother mentioned you've been under a lot of stress," he continued gently. "Sometimes our memories play tricks on us when we're anxious. The important thing is to focus on what's next. Have you thought about community college?" I walked out of his office and straight into the bathroom, locked myself in a stall, pulled out my phone and opened my college board account. SAT score 1,180. I logged out, logged back in, same number. But I remembered. I remembered opening that email on December 18th at 11:32 p.m. I remembered screaming and running downstairs to show my parents. I remembered my mother's face, not happy, not proud, just tight. And then she'd said, "Well, let's not celebrate prematurely. Getting into college is about more than test scores." I had thought she was being cautious, realistic. Now I pulled up my email and searched for College Board. The score report email from December was gone. Deleted. I checked my trash folder. Empty. Someone had permanently deleted it. My hands were shaking again. I took a screenshot of the 1,180 score, then searched through my photos from December. There. December 18th, 11:34 p.m. A blurry photo of my computer screen. I could barely make out the numbers, but I zoomed in. 1,520. Evidence reading and writing, 760. Math, 760. I had proof. Sort of. A barely readable photo that could have been edited. That afternoon, I came home to find Lily Chen sitting in our living room with her mother, Mrs. Chen. Lily was a junior at my school, quiet, poor, always borrowing lunch money. Her mother cleaned houses for a living. Sophia! My mother's voice was bright, performative. Come say hello. Lily has wonderful news. Lily looked uncomfortable. She was holding a folder against her chest. She got into Westfield University, my mother continued. Early admission. Isn't that wonderful? I've been mentoring her through the application process. Something cold slid down my spine. Congratulations, I managed. Thank you, Lily whispered. She wouldn't meet my eyes. My mother put her arm around Mrs. Chen's shoulders. Lily's SAT score was particularly impressive, 1,520, the same score you... She stopped, smiled. Well, we're so proud of her. I stared at Lily, at the folder she was clutching, at my mother's face. Mom, can I talk to you in private? Of course, sweetheart. But her voice had gone cold. In the kitchen, I turned on her. What did you do? Excuse me? Lily Chen got my score, my admission. You... The slap came so fast I didn't see it coming. My cheek exploded with heat. My father appeared in the doorway instantly, like he'd been waiting. Don't you dare accuse your mother of something so disgusting, he said quietly. After everything she's done for you. After she spent hours helping you with your applications, editing your essays. I got a 1,520. I was crying now, hating myself for it. I have proof, I have a photo. A photo you could have edited, my mother said calmly. She was adjusting her necklace, completely composed. Sophia, this is disturbing behavior. You're so desperate to avoid taking responsibility for your own failures that you're accusing me, the director of education, of academic fraud? I'm not lying. Then you're delusional. She looked at my father. I think she needs to see someone. Dr. Patterson, maybe. This level of denial isn't healthy. I ran upstairs and locked my door, sat on my bed and opened my laptop, logged into the College Board site again, clicked through every menu, every option, found the test day roster. It listed my test center, my seat number, my proctor. Then I found something else, a request score verification option. It cost $50. I had $180 in my checking account from my part-time job at the library. I submitted the request. It would take 3 to 4 weeks. I had no idea if it would help, but it was something. 3 days later, I came home to find my mother in my room, sitting at my desk with my laptop open. What are you doing? I'm your parent. I'm allowed to check what you're doing online. She turned the screen toward me. My College Board account was open. A score verification request? Sophia, this has to stop. How did you get my password? I set up this account for you when you were 15. Of course I know the password. She closed the laptop. I'm canceling this request. It's a waste of money, and it's embarrassing for our family. Do you know what people will think if they find out you're disputing your own test scores? I don't care what people think. Well, you should. She stood up. You're making me look like a bad mother. Like I raised a daughter who can't handle disappointment, who makes wild accusations instead of working harder. I did work hard. I studied for 6 months. I earned that score. She walked past me to the door, then stopped. Sophia, let me be very clear. If you continue down this path, If you keep making these accusations, you will lose everything. Your father and I won't pay for community college. You won't live in this house. You'll be on your own. Is that what you want?" My face was burning so hot, I could feel my pulse in my teeth. "No." "Good. Then let's move forward. I've already started looking into community college programs for you. San Marcos has a good transfer rate." She left. I sat on my bed for 47 minutes without moving. That night I heard them talking in their bedroom, my father's voice. "Are you sure this was necessary?" "She'll thank me later. Lily Chen needs this opportunity more than Sophia does. She's poor, Robert. First generation. Her mother cleans toilets. Our daughter has resources, connections, a stable home. She'll be fine. But the risk? There is no risk. I control all the records. I've already processed the changes. Sophia's test was flagged for unusual score improvement and adjusted. Lily's family doesn't know anything suspicious. It's clean." "What about David Lee?" "David does what I tell him. He thinks he's helping a struggling student deal with test anxiety." Silence. Then my father. "For the greater good?" "For the greater good." I was recording. My phone was pressed against the wall, voice memo app running. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped it, but I kept recording. 4 minutes and 12 seconds of my parents discussing how they'd stolen my future and given it to someone else. How they'd falsified official records. How my mother had abused her position as director of education. I saved 3 backup copies, uploaded one to a private cloud account they didn't know about. Then I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling until dawn. Over the next 2 weeks, I became invisible. I went to school, I worked my library shifts, I smiled when my mother showed me community college brochures. I apologized for getting emotional about the admissions process. And I investigated. I started with Mr. David Lee. On a Wednesday after school, I went to his office with a printed copy of the photo I'd taken of my original SAT scores. "Mr. Lee, I need to show you something." He looked tired. He was always tired. Too many students, too much paperwork, too many demands from the district office. "Sophia, if this is about Westfield again, please, just look at this." I put the photo on his desk. He picked it up, squinted at it. "This is December. Your score report?" "Yes, 1,520. I took this photo the night I got my scores, before they were changed." His face went very still. "Changed?" "Someone accessed my college board account and requested a score adjustment. Then they altered the official report sent to colleges. I think it was—" I stopped. Couldn't say it. Not yet. He was quiet for a long time, looking at the photo. Then he opened his computer and pulled up something. "Sophia, do you know what would happen to me if I reported that a student's scores were fraudulently altered by someone in a position of authority?" "I'm not asking you to report anything. I just need you to tell me, is there a way to verify which IP address accessed my student records in the district system?" He closed his eyes. "There's an audit log, but only administrators can access it." "Could you access it?" "No, only the director of education and the superintendent." "My mother, of course." "But," he said slowly, "if someone filed an official complaint with the state education board, they would conduct their own audit. They have override access to all district systems." I looked at him. He looked back. He didn't say anything else. He didn't have to. "Thank you, Mr. Lee." "Sophia." He stopped me at the door. "I've worked in education for 23 years. I've seen a lot of things. But I've never seen someone fight this hard for the truth. Whatever you decide to do, be careful. The people who do this kind of thing don't like being exposed." I filed the complaint that night. Anonymous form on the State Education Board website. Attached the photo of my original scores. Detailed timeline of events. Mentioned irregularities in record keeping at county level. Hit submit at 11:47 p.m. The confirmation email said, Investigation opened. Case number 2024-ED-3847. Estimated review time 45 to 60 days. 60 days. I had to survive 60 days, but I couldn't stay quiet that long. Not when Lily Chen was walking around school with a Westfield sweatshirt, accepting congratulations for an admission that should have been mine. Not when my mother kept bringing home community college applications and leaving them on my bed with helpful notes in the margins. Not when my father looked through me at dinner like I was already gone. On April 15th, I broke. I was shelving books at the library. My after-school job paid $12.50 an hour, 15 hours a week, when my mother walked in. She never came to my workplace, but there she was in her Director of Education blazer, smiling at the head librarian. "Mrs. Patterson, I hope my daughter is doing well here. I know she can be difficult sometimes." Mrs. Patterson, who was 67 and had worked at this library for 40 years, raised her eyebrows. "Sophia? She's one of my best workers, very reliable." "Oh, good. I worry, you know. Since the college rejections, she's been so emotional. I just want to make sure she's stable enough to handle responsibility." I was standing 15 feet away, holding a stack of returns. 3 patrons were nearby, pretending not to listen. "The college rejections," I said clearly, "that came from having my test scores switched with another student." My mother's smile didn't waver. "Sophia, we've talked about this delusion." "It's not a delusion. Someone with administrator access changed my SAT score from 1,520 to 1,180 in the official system. Then they gave my admission slot to Lily Chen. Lily Chen earned her admission through hard work and merit. She earned it with my test scores." The patrons were definitely listening now. Mrs. Patterson looked between us, confused. My mother stepped closer, lowered her voice. "You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing our family. If you don't stop this right now, there will be consequences." "What consequences? You've already taken everything. My college admission, my future. What else is there?" She leaned in so close I could smell her perfume, the same jasmine scent she'd worn my entire life. When she spoke, her voice was barely a whisper, but I heard every word. "You have no idea what I'm capable of protecting. Test scores can be changed, Sophia, but so can medical records, psychiatric evaluations, police reports. Keep pushing, and you'll find out exactly how deep my access goes." Then she straightened up, smiled brightly at Mrs. Patterson, and said in her normal voice, "Thank you for looking after her. She means well. She's just going through a difficult time." She left. The patrons went back to their books. Mrs. Patterson gave me a worried look, but didn't say anything. I finished my shift, clocked out at 8 p.m., sat in my car in the parking lot for 20 minutes. Then I drove to the county courthouse. They were closed, but I knew they opened at 8 a.m. I knew because I'd spent 3 days researching what I needed to do next. At 7:52 a.m. the next morning, I was standing at the clerk's window when they opened. I filed a formal request for my complete student records under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Cost, $25. Processing time, 10 business days. I also requested audit logs showing who had accessed my records in the past 6 months. That request went to a different office, the one that handled Freedom of Information Act requests for government agencies. Then I went to school, sat through AP Literature, ate lunch alone, went to work. The routine became my armor. If I kept moving, I didn't have to think about how my own mother had threatened me, how my father said nothing while she destroyed my future, how I was living in a house with people who were willing to commit fraud and then gaslight me about it. On April 29th, I got an email from the State Education Board. Case 2024-ED-3847. Investigation in progress. Preliminary audit has identified irregularities. Full review underway. You will be contacted if additional information is needed. Irregularities. They'd found something. I screenshot the email and saved it in 4 different places. That same day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Is this Sophia Miller? Yes. This is attorney Rebecca Walsh from the State Education Oversight Committee. I'm calling regarding your complaint about academic fraud. Do you have a few minutes to talk? I was in my car outside the library. My hands started shaking again. Yes, I have time. I need to verify some information with you. On December 18th of last year, you took the SAT, correct? Yes. And you received your scores that same evening? Yes. 1,520. I have a photo of the score report. We have that photo. We also have something else. The College Board maintains separate databases for security purposes. When we cross-referenced your test with their backup system, we found a discrepancy. Your original score was indeed 1,520. But 18 days later, on January 5th, an administrator at your school district submitted a score correction request claiming you had filed a dispute. My breath caught. I never filed a dispute. We know. The request was submitted using an official district administrator account. It claimed you had reported irregularities in your testing conditions and requested a manual review. The College Board conducted that review and, based on the information provided by the district administrator, adjusted your score to 1,180. Who submitted the request? The account belongs to Director Evelyn Miller, your mother. I sat there. The parking lot was empty. It was starting to rain. We also found something else, Attorney Walsh continued. On the same day, an identical process was used to increase another student's score, Lily Chen. Her original score was 980. It was adjusted to 1,520. She stole my score and gave it to Lily. That's what our evidence suggests. We've also found evidence that your mother accessed both student portals multiple times, deleted acceptance emails, and altered admission status records in the district system. All of this happened between January 5th and March 24th. The date I saw my acceptance email being deleted. What happens now? I need to ask you something, Sophia. Are you safe at home? The question caught me off guard. Yes, physically, yes. But emotionally, I didn't answer. The reason I ask is that what comes next is going to be difficult. We're opening a formal investigation into your mother's conduct. She'll be placed on administrative leave. Your father, as a government official, will also be investigated for potential knowledge of the fraud. This will become public. There will be media attention, and I need to know that you have support. I don't, I said quietly. I don't have anyone. She was quiet for a moment. Do you have anywhere else you can stay? My aunt, my dad's sister, adds. She lives 2 hours away. We're not close, but... Call her, today. Tell her what's happening. You're going to need someone in your corner. I called Aunt Linda that night. She picked up on the third ring. Sophia, is everything okay? No, I said. And then I told her everything. She drove to pick me up the next day, helped me pack 2 suitcases while my parents were at work. Left a note on the kitchen counter. Staying with Aunt Linda for a while. Need space. My mother called 47 times that night. I didn't answer. My father sent one text. This is your choice. Don't come back. I stayed with Aunt Linda for 3 weeks. She was a high school math teacher, divorced, no kids. She gave me the guest room and didn't ask questions I couldn't answer. On May 20th, the story broke. Director of Education under investigation for academic fraud. It was the front page of the county newspaper. By evening, it was on 3 news websites. By the next morning, it was trending on Twitter. My phone exploded. Texts from classmates, emails from reporters, a message from Lily Chen that just said, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I didn't respond to any of them. What I did do was receive a call from Westfield University's admissions office. Miss Miller, this is Dean Catherine Rogers from Westfield. We've been following the investigation into your admission case. We wanted to let you know that we've reviewed your original application with your verified test scores. Your admission has been reinstated, effective immediately. We're also offering you a full scholarship for 4 years and an on-campus job in our library system if you're interested. I sat down on Aunt Linda's couch. Are you serious? Completely. We take fraud very seriously, especially when it affects deserving students. We're also reviewing Lily Chen's admission. Her original scores don't meet our standards, so we'll be rescinding her acceptance. What about Lily? Does she know what her mother did? According to our investigation, Miss Chen was aware that the scores were altered. We have email evidence showing that Mrs. Chen and Director Miller coordinated the fraud, and that Lily was informed of the plan. So Lily knew. The whole time she was sitting in my living room, accepting congratulations, wearing that Westfield sweatshirt. She knew. We're very sorry this happened to you, Sophia. We hope you'll still consider joining our community. I will, I managed. Thank you. After I hung up, I just sat there. Aunt Linda came home from school and found me crying on the couch. She didn't say anything, just sat down next to me and put her arm around my shoulders. Good tears or bad tears? She finally asked. I don't know, I said. Both. On June 3rd, I received a formal letter from the State Education Oversight Committee. My mother had been terminated from her position as Director of Education. She was facing criminal charges for falsification of public records, abuse of authority, and fraud. My father was being investigated for conspiracy and failure to report a crime. Lily Chen's acceptance to Westfield was officially rescinded. She was banned from reapplying. Mr. David Lee sent me a private email. You were right to fight. I'm sorry I didn't believe you sooner. I've submitted my testimony to the investigation. You're going to be okay. I didn't feel okay. I felt hollowed out. But then on June 15th, something happened that changed everything. Mrs. Chen, Lily's mother, posted on social media a long, rambling post about how her daughter was the real victim here. How Lily deserved that admission because she worked harder than any rich kid ever had. How my mother was a hero for giving opportunities to those who needed them. And then she announced that she was throwing a party, a college acceptance party, for Lily. Because even though Westfield had unfairly rescinded her admission, Lily had been accepted to State University, and they were going to celebrate. The party was scheduled for June 28th. She posted the address, invited the whole neighborhood, asked people to bring gifts. I read the post 3 times. Then I looked at the audio recording on my phone, the one I'd made weeks ago when I heard my parents discussing the fraud through the bedroom wall. 4 minutes and 12 seconds. I played it again. My mother's voice. I've already processed the changes. Sophia's test was flagged for unusual score improvement and adjusted. Lily's family doesn't know anything suspicious. Lily's family doesn't know anything. But the State Education Committee had found emails between Mrs. Chen and my mother. They'd coordinated. Mrs. Chen knew, which meant this party, was a performance, a way to play victim while celebrating stolen success. I called Attorney Walsh. I need to know something. The emails you found between my mother and Mrs. Chen, can I get copies? Not officially. They're part of an ongoing investigation. But you could read me relevant portions, so I know what was said? She was quiet. Then, Sophia, what are you planning? I just want to know the truth. All of it. She sighed. Okay. But this conversation is off the record. She read me the emails. Mrs. Chen had approached my mother first. She'd heard about my SAT scores through gossip. My mother had bragged about them at a school board meeting. Mrs. Chen offered to make it worth her while if my mother could help Lily. My mother had agreed. Not for money, for political capital. Mrs. Chen had connections in the immigrant community, connections my mother wanted for her next campaign for county supervisor. They'd planned the whole thing together, switched the scores, deleted the emails, coordinated the story. And Lily? She'd sent her mother a text on March 25th, the day after my acceptance was deleted. "Are you sure Auntie Evelyn handled everything cleanly? What if that girl finds out?" Mrs. Chen had replied, "Don't worry, that girl is stupid. She had enough points but didn't even realize. To this day, she still thinks she didn't do well and serves tea and water to apologize to her mother every day." That text. That one text was all I needed. Because I wasn't stupid, and I wasn't serving anyone anymore. On June 28th, I arrived at Lily Chen's college acceptance party at 6:47 p.m. The party was in full swing, maybe 40 people crammed into the Chen's small backyard. Lily was wearing a State University t-shirt, accepting gifts, smiling for photos. My mother was there. Of course she was. Despite the investigation, despite being on unpaid leave, she was standing next to Mrs. Chen like they were old friends. My father was there too, holding a glass of wine, laughing at someone's joke. When I walked in through the side gate, the conversation stopped. Everyone turned to look at me. "Sophia!" Mrs. Chen's voice was loud, false, cheerful. "What a surprise! We didn't expect you." "I'm sure you didn't." I walked to the center of the yard. My hands weren't shaking anymore. I felt calm, clear. My mother stepped forward. "Sophia, this isn't appropriate. You need to leave." "I don't think so. See, I have something everyone here should hear." I pulled out my phone, opened the voice memo app, let my finger hover over the play button. Lily was staring at me. She knew. I could see it in her face. "On March 23rd, I said, addressing the crowd, "I recorded a conversation between my parents. They didn't know I was listening. They were discussing how they stole my college admission and gave it to Lily Chen." "That's enough," my father said. His voice was sharp. "You're making a scene." "I'm telling the truth." I looked at my mother. "Do you want to tell them, or should I play the recording?" Her face had gone white. "Sophia, whatever you think you heard." I pressed play. My mother's voice came through the phone speaker, tinny but clear. "She'll thank me later. Lily Chen needs this opportunity more than Sophia does. She's poor, Robert. First generation. Her mother cleans toilets. Our daughter has resources, connections, a stable home. She'll be fine." My father's voice. "But the risk?" My mother. "There is no risk. I control all the records. I've already processed the changes. Sophia's test was flagged for unusual score improvement and adjusted. Lily's family doesn't know anything suspicious. It's clean." I let it play. All 4 minutes and 12 seconds. The entire yard was silent, except for my parents' voices admitting to fraud, discussing how they'd manipulated records, how they'd stolen my future. When it finished, I looked at Mrs. Chen. "But that's not even the best part. Should I tell them about the text messages? The ones where you called me stupid because I didn't realize what you'd done? The ones where you and my mother planned this together?" Mrs. Chen's face crumpled. We never." "The State Education Committee has the emails, Mrs. Chen. They know you approached my mother first. They know this was conspiracy. They know Lily was aware of what was happening." Lily made a sound, half sob, half gasp. "Mom, you said it was legal. You said Auntie Evelyn was just helping." "Shut up!" Mrs. Chen grabbed Lily's arm. "Don't say anything." But it was too late. Everyone had heard. Everyone had seen. My mother was shaking her head. "This is out of context. Sophia edited that recording. She's been having psychological issues, making false accusations. I have the original file, time-stamped and backed up in 3 locations. The State Education Committee has already verified its authenticity. They're using it in your criminal trial." My father's face had turned gray. "Sophia, please, think about what you're doing to this family." "I'm not doing anything to this family. You did this. You stole from me. You lied to me. You tried to make me think I was crazy." I looked around at all the faces staring at me. Neighbors, Lily's relatives, people I'd seen at school functions my whole life. I just wanted you all to know the truth. Before you celebrate Lily's success, you should know it was built on fraud. I turned to leave. My mother grabbed my arm. You ungrateful little... She stopped herself, forced a smile. You're upset. You're confused. We can talk about this at home. I pulled my arm away. I don't have a home with you. I live with Aunt Linda now, and in August, I'm moving into my dorm at Westfield University. Full scholarship, on-campus job, everything you tried to take from me. Her mask finally cracked. You selfish brat! After everything I did for you. You didn't do anything for me, you sacrificed me. For your political career, for your reputation, for your idea of the greater good. But I was your daughter. I was supposed to be the one you protected. I walked out through the gate. Behind me, I could hear the chaos starting, voices raising, accusations flying, Mrs. Chen crying. I didn't look back. 3 months later, I'm sitting in my dorm room at Westfield. It's a Tuesday afternoon in September. I have a shift at the campus library in an hour. My roommate is at class. It's quiet. My mother was convicted of 3 counts of fraud and abuse of authority. She got 2 years in prison, suspended sentence with probation, and permanent revocation of her education license. My father kept his job but faces a civil lawsuit from the county. Lily Chen is attending community college. She sends me an apology email every few weeks. I don't respond. Mrs. Chen was charged with conspiracy but took a plea deal, community service and a fine. Mr. David Lee got a promotion to assistant principal. He emails me sometimes to check in. Aunt Linda helped me move into my dorm. She bought me a desk lamp and a coffee maker and told me she was proud of me. I haven't spoken to my parents in 92 days. My mother writes letters from her court-mandated therapy. I don't open them. People ask me if I'm angry, if I want revenge. The truth is, I don't feel much of anything toward them anymore. They made their choices. They face the consequences. I'm just trying to build something new. But there's one thing I've learned that I want to share with you. If you're watching this, silence isn't loyalty. Silence isn't love. Silence is what people demand when they know what they're doing is wrong. When someone tells you to stop fighting for the truth because it's embarrassing, or causing drama, or hurting the family, that's when you know the truth matters most. My mother wanted me to accept her version of reality, to believe I was stupid, that I'd imagined my own success, that I should be grateful for whatever scraps she decided to give me. And for a while, I almost believed her. Because she was my mother. Because I wanted to trust her. But trust has to be earned. And when someone destroys your trust, you don't owe them silence. You don't owe them protection. You owe yourself the truth. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying there won't be consequences. I lost my parents. I lost the family I thought I had. I gained something else, my self-respect, my future, my voice. And that trade, I'd make it again. Right now, I'm looking out my window at the campus quad, students walking to class, trees starting to turn autumn colors. My SAT prep book is on my desk. I kept it as a reminder. My acceptance letter is framed on my wall. Tomorrow, I have my first exam in Introduction to Educational Policy. I'm studying to become a school counselor. Someone who helps students navigate the system. Someone who believes them when they say something is wrong. I think that would make my mother furious. And honestly, that feels right. If you've ever had to choose between family loyalty and your own truth, type "I chose truth" in the comments. Or if you're still fighting to be heard, type "I'm still fighting." Both are valid. Both take courage. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening.